we have elaborately discussed everything. Then the next turn is historiographical traditions in early India. Now we'll discuss about the historical traditions in early India. Try to go through your lessons. For understanding ancient traditions of historiography, it is useful the definitions of history have been changing over time. So what they want to say that the historical definitions is always changing. Now the scope of history has expanded considerably. What the history during the ancient medieval and now it is changed a lot. Now history is not to be simply a chronicle of kings. What we have read in our ancient and medieval period, just it was a chronicle of kings and the royal house, royal houses. Now it is changed. Historians are interested to explore and attempt to reconstruct histories of the environment, of gender relations, of social categories and classes that were regarded as a marginal, subordinate, even insignificant and peripheral regions. So, what history is in ancient and medieval period that is not nowadays. So, what happened? The historians they have interested to write the environmental history, the gender relations, the social categories, and the marginal classes, or even the subordinate and the insignificant any insignificant events in peripheral regions. Now that means now history has a wide scope, and now the scope is already changed what it was in ancient and medieval period. All these works were composed by literate men. So what happened in India? All these works were composed by literate men, particularly Brahmins. So you see, when we discuss about our ancient culture like Rig Veda or later Vedic periods or so on, and during the Guptas, Mauryas, or everything, if you discuss one after another dynasty history, we will see that Brahmins, they had dominated the society and they had composed so literary works. But the significance has been debated for nearly 2 centuries. So now it is debated for 200 years whether works were written to be Itihasa and Puranas were compared with the historians produced in ancient Greek and Rome and were found wanting. So what happened? No doubt, Brahmins, they are the literate persons of the Indian society. They have written a good number of Puranas and Itihas also. But if you compare with the Roman and Greek civilizations, our history, our literature, we feel it is some wanting. Abhava kichhi rahi jaichi. They were deficient of chronological precision. That means chronologically it is not written, which are regarded as the minimum requirement of historical work. So what happened? It is not written in a chronological manner. That is, it is not written in a period wise. So it is the minimum requirement of historiography, which is not in our Puranas or in Itihasa. Early Indians were intellectually inferior to their Western counterparts. So what happened regarding history? If you compare to the Indian historians and the Greek and Roman historians, naturally we have some wanting. But they have used the word inferior, but I do not agree with it because our intellectuals are not inferior in comparison to counterparts, though it may have some lacuna, though it may have some wanting, no doubt, but our persons, our intellectuals has done a lot of things in other fields. But when we tell about the history, we have some wanting. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, my dear friends. Any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir. Thank you. So it is all about the Indian history, what they have done, and it is all about the ancient and medieval Indian history, what they have done. They have written about the dynastic history or about the kings and queens. But now, in modern times, it has totally changed, and now the historians are interested to take even the insignificant event they are interested. So now we'll see earliest histories, the Vedic Dhanastutis. So what is Dhanastuti? It is an earlier, it was prevailing in our ancient India. So we will see what is Dhanastuti. Some of the earliest examples came from the Rig Veda. You know, when the Rig Veda was written, who can say? Rig Veda was written during? My dear friends, you are not able to tell me when the Rig Veda was written. In which period at least you can say? The Aryans, when they first came to India, at that time, the Rig Veda was written. Okay. These verses were identified as Dhanastutis. Dhanastutis means praise of a gift. These were composed by the recipients, means priest, and mention the name of the donor. So now we will see, generally, one person is the donor and another person is the recipient. So it is a conversation between donor and the recipient. So the recipients generally they were priests. Even today we are also giving gifts to the priest. Okay, ଯେତେବେଳେ ତମେ ଦେଖିବ ଆମ ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେପ୍ଟେମ୍ବର ମାସ ହେଇଯିବ ହେଲା ସେଟାକୁ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ କଣ କୁହାଯାଉଛି ସେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ ଘରେ ଶ୍ରାଦ୍ଧ କରୁ ଜାଣିଛ ନା ଏ କଥା ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ମାଇ ଡିୟର ଫ୍ରେଣ୍ଡସ୍ ସେଟା କି ମାସ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ସେଟାକୁ ନାଇଁ ଭାଦ୍ରବ ନାହିଁ ସେପ୍ଟେମ୍ବର ମାସଟା ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ କଣ ଯୋଉ ମାସେ ମାସେ ଖାଲି ଶ୍ରାଦ୍ଧ କରାଯାଏ ଅପର ପକ୍ଷ ଅପର ପକ୍ଷ ହିଁ ଆମେ ଶ୍ରାଦ୍ଧ କରୁ କାହିଁକି ନା ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ପକ୍ଷଟା ରହୁଛି ମାନେ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ମିଣ୍ଟ ଫର ଆୱାର ପ୍ରିଡିସେସର୍ସ ଆମର ଯିଏ ମରିଯାଇଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ଏଇଟା କଣ କରାଯାଏ ଶ୍ରାଦ୍ଧ ମାନେ ଶ୍ରାଦ୍ଧ କରାଯାଏ ଏବଂ ଆମେ ମହାଳୟା ଶ୍ରାଦ୍ଧ
ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆଜ୍ଞା
ହଁ ଏଥିପାଇଁ ତା ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଶ୍ରାଦ୍ଧ ବି ହେଇଯାଏ ସେ ମାସରେ ଏଣ୍ଟାୟାର ମାସରେ ଶ୍ରାଦ୍ଧ ହୁଏ ହେଲେ ଜେନେରାଲି ହ୍ୱାଟ वी आर डूइंग we invite a priest and we are giving some gift to him. It may be a cash or kind. We will in today's we are giving also some rices to the Brahmin and as a dakshina we are giving 100 to 200 or 500 rupees like this. For what purpose? That he will give us blessings, nothing else. Okay, and it will satisfy our predecessors. ଆମେ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ତାଙ୍କୁ predecessors ମାନଙ୍କୁ ମନେ ପକାଇବା ପାଇଁ ଆମେ ଏ କଥାଟା କରୁଛେ and the such type of traditions is also it is prevailing in the society. ତ ସେଠି କ'ଣ ହେଇଛି ନା ଏ ଯୋଉ ଜିନିଷ ଯୋଉ ଆସିଲା ରିଗ୍ ବେଦ କଥା ଯୋଉ ଆସିଲା ଏଇଟା ଆସିଲା କେବେ ନା when the Aryans came into India they have written the Rig Veda, the oldest Veda. ହେଲେ ସେଠି ଲେଖାଯାଇଛି କ'ଣ ନା these were composed by the recipients. ବ୍ରାହ୍ମଣଙ୍କ ଦ୍ୱାରା ଲେଖାଯାଇଛି ପ୍ରିଷ୍ଟ ମାନଙ୍କ ଦ୍ୱାରା ଲେଖାଯାଇଛି and mention the name of the donor. ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ଦିଆଯାଇଛି, try to understand these examples. Skilled Yadu's son is giving precious wealth, he who is rich in herd of cattle. तार माने गुड़े कैटल थिला आमे ऋग्वेदिक जो समय को जिबा जदि आमे जिबा देखिबा जे सेते बेले संपत्ति जो काउ कुआ जाउथिला ना जार गुड़े कैटल अछि बळद अछि एवं जार बेसी थिला ताउ कुआ जाउथिला रिच पर्सन किंतु वर्तमान से नाही जार कार थिबो बाइक थिबो हला एंड भू सम्पत्ति थिबो वी आर कॉलिंग हिम एज द रिच पर्सन एवं से कहउथिन कोन स्किल जादू सन is in giving precious wealth, he who is rich in herd of cattle, make he Asanga's son, Swanandartha, obtain all joy and happiness. Whereas Ujia donor, Je Dejuni Tonka. Asanga, the son of Prayago, has surpassed others by giving 10,000. You see, say somewhere. They were given 10,000. And nowadays it is very difficult to give 10,000. Ke doucho ki? Mohara sadhare 10,000 pande ke doucho? Dan doucho?
Nahi sir.
Hello? Nahi. Kintu chinta karo, se samare Rig period samare he has offered 10 rupees, 10,000 rupees, and I have got 10 bright colored oxen. এবং সে কোন করছি 10টা বলদ মধ্যে পাইছিলা this is the statement, this is the example during the early Vedic period or the Rig Vedic period. So here they want to say that earliest histories the Vedic Danastutis, these are the Danastuti, Dano paile এবং we are praising to them. So this is all about it. Then any doubt please? Any doubt?
No, sir.
The recipient acknowledges the gift he receives and prays for the well-being of the donor. एबे मध्य जो माने पूरे तो माने जान घर को automatically they are praising for his gift and also ताको कोन कोनती they are giving आशीर्वाद. Okay, it was a major ritual like Ashwamedha. You see, what about the Ashwamedha ceremony that Rama has done it? Ashwamedha ceremony, gode ghoda taku chhade bahare. Okay, as a part of the ritual, the sacrificial horse was let loose to wander for a year. Ashwamedha jagane kon ho na gode ghoda ku sane kon karibe pura pura taku bahare chhadi debe. During that period, a Brahmana priest was expected to sing about the generosity of the patron every morning. A Brahmana, what he will do? He will praise about that person, about that patron. While Kshatriya was to sing about his warlike exploits every evening. So one Brahmana will praise in the morning, and one Kshatriya will say about his warlike exploits in every evening. It is likely that many stories were compiled. Many stories were compiled in the epics and in the Puranics were developed. So what happened? In this manner, many stories were compiled in the Puranas. So are the epics historical narratives? Just you try to compare between China and India, and we will also understand. We will also discuss about various lacunas. The Mahabharata is recognized as an itihasa, while Ramayana is regarded as a Mahakavya. So you see, Mahabharata is recognized as a itihasa, and Ramayana was a Mahakavya or a great poem. Each of these texts has a long and complicated history. Both are long and complicated history, just like we have seen in China that they have written their history more than 1,000 years. The epics may date back to the early centuries of the first millennium BC, but finally written down in 4th to 5th century Common Era. The Kurus and Panchalos are mentioned. Archaeological excavations and our explorations indicate that site such as Hastinapura and Indraprastha and Ajodhya were small pre-urban settlements during this period. So when we will excavate these areas like Hastinapura, Indraprastha, Ajodhya, these are very small towns, pre-urban settlements during this period. The Mahabharata contains the genealogies of the lunar or Chandramansha lineage, while the Ramayana contains the genealogy of the solar lineage. So this is all about the historical narratives like Mahabharata and Ramayana. And we have seen that Mahabharata is the Itihasa, whereas Ramayana is a great epic. So Puranic genealogies and what they tell us. So these genealogies, what they tell us. If you have any doubt, my dear friends, any doubt regarding
sir.
Ramayana and Mahabharata?
No,
No, sir.
No, Sadananda, no. We will go ahead.
No.
Okay. So, by the middle of the first millennium CE, another category of literature, the Puranas was written down. You see what happened after Ramayana and Mahabharata, the Puranas they came into existence. A social group known as the Sutras played important role in the composition, compilation, and transmission were included in the Puranas. So now we will see about the role of Sutras. The Sutras are often regarded as bards or poets. They are listed as jewels or principal supporters of the Raja in the later Vedic text. So what happened? These sutras, they were regarded as the important persons or important poets in the court of kings. Sutras are also mentioned as low status people in the Dharma Shastras. So, ଆମେ ଯୋଉ ଜାଣିଛେ କର୍ଣ୍ଣ ହଉଛନ୍ତି ସୂତଙ୍କର ପୁତ୍ର ହେଲା, so generally they are regarded as a low status people in Dharma Shastra. We find 2 or 3 types of genealogies in the Puranas. The first included the lineage of the sages. ଗୋଟେ ହଉଛି lineage of the sages. The other genealogies are those of rulers. They are divided into 2 categories, that is the predate of Kali Yuga and those of rulers who were post Kali Yuga. So what happened, my dear friends? So now we'll see about the role of Sutras. So what they have done, and generally they dominate the society during the Puranic period, and though they are regarded as a low status people. So in the next time, they divided it into the 2 categories. One is the predate, that is the beginning of Kali Yuga, and those of rulers who were post Kali Yuga. Okay, so if any doubt is there, any doubt, my dear friends?
no, sir.
No, sir.
No. So we find that 2 or 3 types of genealogies in the Puranas. Okay, one is the before Kali Yuga and another is the post Kali Yuga. So we will see. The first category, the original solar and lunar lineage, includes the heroes of the epics. The war that constitutes the central event of the Mahabharata is recognized as a marking of the turning points of human history. So what happened? What it is written in Mahabharata. So it is a turning point in human history and the beginning of the age of a decline, that is Kali Yuga. So what happened? So Mahabharata is the beginning of the decline of Kali Yuga. The genealogy of the second category of rulers, lesser mortals, is marked by an interesting feature. All these genealogies are constructed in the future tense. You see, what happened? The post Kali Yuga, what happened? They have written in the future tense. That example, kings born of the Gupta family will enjoy all these territories. You see, and I think you have not marked it regarding the pre-Kali Yuga and regarding the post-Kali Yuga. In post-Kali Yuga, it was written in future tense. You see, kings born of the Gupta family will enjoy all these territories. Means Prayaga, Allahabad on the Ganga, then Sakita and Magadha was the future tense adopted to suggest that these rulers were destined to rule. So it is in future tense they have applied. That means they have they have mentioned that these rulers in future they will destined to rule. What is interesting is that many of the rulers mentioned in the Puranic genealogies are known from other sources such as inscriptions and coins as well. At the same time, not all rulers who are known from other sources find place in these genealogies. So what happened? Here they want to say that there are two types of rulers. One is the pre-Kali Yuga and another is the post-Kali Yuga. So pre-Kali Yuga, what happened? When you see, here he has given a beautiful sentence that Mahabharata is recognized as marking the turning point in human history and the beginning of an age, that is the beginning of an age of a decline, that is the Kali Yuga. So after Mahabharata, what happened? Kali Yuga was over, according to this historical discussion. And the genealogy of the second category, they are implying that it is used that they have used the future tense. Okay, they have used the future tense. That means these rulers will rule the whole India. It is what they want to tell us. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, I will go ahead. ये जो कथा देखिले पिला माने गोटे जिनिस जे ये जो पुराण रे कोन हेछि बा रामायण महाभारत रे कोन हेछि से माने दी प्रकार रूलर्स माने सजेस्ट करछन्ती गोटे होछि प्री कलि युग एंड होछि आउट होछि पोस्ट कलि युग एवं प्री कलि युग रे कोन हेछि ना इट इज द डिक्लाइन ऑफ द कलि युग महाभारत इज द डिक्लाइन ऑफ कलि युग दे वांट टू से अस एवं जेतेबेले पोस्ट कलि युग आसिला से व्हाट हैपेंड दे यूज्ड future tense. Try to remember these are the important points when you will write the answer. So they have used future tense. That means kings born on the Gupta family will enjoy all these territories. That is the Prayaga or Allahabad, Ganga, Saketa, Magadha, and these are the rulers will enjoy these kingdoms. So this is all about the Kali Yuga and the post Kali Yuga. Anything? Any doubt?
No, sir.
We will go ahead. So, so another interesting thing is there also. The in the Puranic genealogies are known from other sources such as the inscriptions and coins as well. At the same time, not all rulers who are known from other sources find place in these genealogies. So their names are also mentioned in inscriptions and also coins. Those who will rule during Gupta period. You see what they have written during the time of Mahabharata, that such rulers definitely they will rule these kingdoms, and their names are known from not only they mentioned, but also we will get their names in the inscriptions and coins also. That is the most interesting. Both it are clear ମୁଁ ଭାବୁଛି ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କୁ ସେମାନେ ଯୋଉ ଗୋଟେ କଥା କହିଲେ ପ୍ରି କଳିଯୁଗ ଏବଂ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କଥା କହିଲେ ପୋଷ୍ଟ କଳିଯୁଗ। ପ୍ରି କଳିଯୁଗଟା ମୁଁ କହିଲି that will end, that will decline when the Mahabharata Mahabharata is recognized as a marking of the turning point of human history and the beginning of an age of decline. जो महाभारत ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆରମ୍ଭ ହେଲା ସେତେବେଳେ କଣ ହେଲା କଳିଯୁଗଟା ସରିଗଲା ଏବଂ ଯୋଉ ପୋଷ୍ଟ କଳିଯୁଗ କଥା ଲେଖା ଯାଇଛି ସେ ପୋଷ୍ଟ କଳିଯୁଗରେ କଣ ହେଇଛି ଏ ରଜା ଏଗୁଡିକ ଏମାନେ ଏ ଯୋଉ ଏ ରାଜ୍ୟ ଗୁଡିକରେ ଗୁପ୍ତ ପିରିୟଡରେ ଏମାନେ ଏ ରାଜ୍ୟରେ ଶାସନ କରିବେ ଖାଲି ସେତିକି ଲେଖା ଯାଇନି ଆମେ ଯେତେ ଗୁଡିଏ ଇନସ୍କ୍ରିପସନ ପାଉଛେ ଯେତେ ଗୁଡିଏ ଆମେ କଏନ ପାଉଛେ ସେଇ କଥା ମଧ୍ୟ ସେଠି ଲେଖା ଯାଇଛି ସଚେତ ଏମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ଆଗରୁ ଜାଣି ନେଇଥିଲେ that is the most interesting thing. Did you understand my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No doubt with you? Any doubt?
No, sir.
No. So you see what is the interesting with us. Now courtly traditions prasansa. Courtly traditions what they have done. Most of the literature so far was written in Sanskrit verse. So jaha lekha jaichi all are written in Sanskrit verse. The Puranas and the epics were read out to all the categories of people, including women and Sudras, who were denied Sanskrit texts. So at that time, what happened? The women and the Sudras were not permitted to read these Sanskrit books because it is regarded as the holy books and it is regarded as the gift of God. Sanskrit is a literature of the God and the goddesses. So women and Sudras were not allowed to read it. There were certain kind of histories which were accessible to all sections of society. There were other categories of text were restricted to elite audience. So such literature is there which were allowed to all class of people and such literatures were also there which is restricted, which is limited only to the elite audience. Those were associated with the royal court, written in ornate Sanskrit with the use of prolific use of similes and metaphors. So the persons, those who are elite persons, those who were associated with the king's court, they were written, their literature is written something different, which was quite difficult to understand, and in that literature, these literatures were used prolific use of similes and metaphors. These texts are found in processes or eulogistic inscriptions as well as in caritas. So what happened? Now we will examine what is the prasasti. Some of the earliest examples of prasastis are in Prakrit, but the best example are in Sanskrit. So some examples were also there which were written in Prakrit, but the best example is they are after Prakrit they use Sanskrit language. तमे उपेन्द्र भंडकर काव्य पढ़िଛ ପିଲାମାନେ? उपेन्द्र भंडकर कौन से काव्य पढ़िଛ? पढ़िଛ? कौन पढ़िଛ गोटे कहबो पंक्तिरे? He is belonging to our locality where I am staying. ହେଲା गोटे କଥା ମୁଁ କହୁଛି देखरे नलिनी 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 रे पूरित ହେଲା देखरे नलिनी 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 माने घर नलिनी माने होची माने पोखरी नलिनी माने होची पद्म देखरे नलिनी 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 रे पूरित भ्रमंती भ्रमंती भ्रमरे
भ्रमरे सुमित
भ्रमंती भ्रमंती भ्रमरे भ्रमरे पूरित ତେଣୁ ଏ ଟାଇପ୍ର ଯୋଉ ସିମିଲିସ୍ ଓ ଯୋଉ ମେଟାଫରସ୍ ଏଇଟା ଯୋଉ ୟୁଜ୍ ହଉଥିଲା it was confined to the listed persons or those who were in the royal courts. Okay, so we are discussing about the Prakrit language and about the Sanskrit. The best known prasasti is Samudragupta's Prayaga prasasti. Okay, ଯଦି ତମେ କେତେବେଳେ ଆଲାମାର ଯିବ ତ୍ରିବେଣୀ ଯଦି ଯିବ କେତେବେଳେ ତମକୁ ଯଦି ମୌକା ମିଳୁଛି ତାହେଲେ କଣ କରିବ ସେଠାରେ ଯାଇକି ତମେ ଦେଖିକି ଆସିବ what is Samudragupta's Prayaga prasasti known as a Allahabad pillar inscription composed by Harison, a skilled poet and minister of Samudragupta. Okay, the inscription describes how the ruler was chosen by his father. So, as a description of the how he was chosen by his father to rule the country, it was written there. His heroic qualities and boundless scholarship and other qualities is there. So, when a father choose a person, choose a son to be the ruler, he should see that some divine qualities or heroic qualities should be with that son or successor. For example, the ruler's body, you see how they have described a sentence. The ruler's body was described more handsome. The ruler's body, the person who will rule, the ruler's body was described more handsome, adorned with the wounds, जोटा कि adorned with the wounds caused by axes, arrows, spikes, spears, darts, swords, clubs, javelins, and other weapons. Such elaborate description in ornament Sanskrit were meant to impress the ruling elite. ଯେତେବେଳେ ତାକୁ କେମିତି ବନା ହେଇଥିବ ଗୋଟେ ଶାସକର ବଡି କଣ ହେଇଥିବ ହି ଇଜ ମୋର ହ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡସମ୍ କେମିତି ହ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡସମ୍ ନା ତା ଦେହରେ ଟାଙ୍ଗିଆ ଚିହ୍ନ ଥିବ ତା ଦେହରେ ଏରୋ ଚିହ୍ନ ଥିବ ତା ଦେହରେ ସ୍ପାଇକ୍ ଚିହ୍ନ ଥିବ ତା ଦେହରେ ସ୍ପେସ୍ ଚିହ୍ନ ଥିବ ଯଦି ଏ ଚିହ୍ନ ଗୁଡ଼ିକ ଅଛି ତାହେଲେ ଅଟୋମେଟିକାଲି ହି ୱିଲ୍ ବି ହ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡସମ୍ ଯଦି ନାହିଁ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ମିନ୍ସ ହି ଇଜ ଅନଫିଟ୍ ଟୁ ରୁଲ୍ ଦ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରି ତମେ ଚିନ୍ତା କର ହ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡସମ୍ ର ଅର୍ଥ କଣ ଏବଂ ସେତେବେଳେ ସେମାନେ କେମିତି ହ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡସମ୍ ର ଚିହ୍ନ କରୁଥିଲେ ଯାହା ଦେହରେ ଛୁରୀର ଚିହ୍ନ ଥିବ ଯାହା ଦେହରେ ନଳୀର ଚିହ୍ନ ଥିବ ଯାହା ଦେହରେ ଏରୋର ଚିହ୍ନ ଥିବ ଏ ସବୁ ଚିହ୍ନ ଗୁଡ଼ିକ ଥିଲେ ହିଁ ତା ଅର୍ଥ ସିଏ ସବୁକୁ ସହାୟ କରିପାରିଛି ଦେନ୍ ଅଟୋମେଟିକାଲି he will be regarded as a handsome sons of the kings. Another famous prasasti is that Pulakeshan II and the Pulakeshan II, the Chalukya ruler of the 7th century Common Era, Ravikirti, the poet composer, and he can be compared with Kalidasa and Bhairavi. So Ravikirti, who is he? Now he is compared with Kalidasa and Bhairavi. We have a description of Pulakeshan's accession to the throne and his military experts, which included pushing back the contemporary ruler of North India. Also, when he attempted to cross Vindhyas, Ravikirti's composition is a part of votive inscription. It records the poet donated a house for a Jaina teacher. So, they have written prasasti means what? Prasansa kariba. So, they have written about anything to praise a king or to praise a ruler. So, this is all about the prasasti of Pulakeshan II, and we have also given an example of Samudragupta's Allahabad pillar inscription. So, these are the two important prasastis in India. We will find it. So, anything, if you have any doubt.
No, sir.
Okay, we will go ahead.
Yes,
Then courtly traditions means charitas. What we tell now, charitra or charitas. Charita, these were accounts of the lives and achievements of great men. I mean, you call biography or autobiography. These are the charitras. We are telling So these were the accounts of the lives and achievements of great men. Most of the examples of charitas are in Sanskrit, and like the prosodis and style is extremely ornate. And the style is extremely ornate. That means it is extremely alankariko. These entirely written for elite consumption. So these were written for the elite persons, those who can consume it, and it is not for the other persons. For example, Buddha Charita, composed by Ashwagoswam, although a world renouncer, the author dwells in the luxuries of a courtly life, including elaborate description of a woman. So what happened? Ashwagoswam, Buddha Charita was written by Ashwagoswam. Although he was a saint, a world renouncer, means a saint, the author dwells in the luxuries of a courtly life. He maintained a luxury life, including elaborate descriptions of women. Though he was a saint, but he maintained a luxurious life, including women, wealth. So these are the style. So Harsacharita, what happened? Composed by Banabhatta, it deals with the early years of Harsa's reign. It contains most complex prose sentences in Sanskrit literature, carefully crafted so as to lend an aura to the ruler who was eulogized the description of Harsa's feet. So you see what happened. Banabhatta, he has also given a beautiful stanza. How Harsa's feet is. Harsangara padala kemin thila, he has made a description. So try to go through the lessons I am reading. His feet were very red. You see, तार पाद गुड़िक पूरापूरी रेड कलर थिला. His feet were very red, as if with wrath at insubordinate kings. जदि से किमिति रेड थिला ना जदि से तांगर insubordinated. That means disobedient. Those who are not obeying the king. Those who are not obeying or those who are violating the orders of the king. At the time, what happens? So, just like that anger. So, his feet were very red, as if with wrath. That means anger. At insubordinate kings. And they shed a bright ruby light on the crowded crest of the prostrate monarchs. So what happened? Kete monarch kon kondi prostrate. Jettabele tame dekhibo amaro medieval period what happened? Sadharanto jomane jauthile raja pakhaku they prostrate on the feet of the king. So just like this, and caused a sunset of all the fires, luminaries of war, and power streams of honey from the flowers of the crest, garlands of the local kings, and were never even for a moment unattended, as by the heads of the slain enemies, by swarms of bees which fluttered, bewildered by the sweet odor of the chaplets on the heads of all the feudal chiefs. So you should not write these sentences because it will kill your golden time, but try to understand how they, the eulogists, or so to say, the poets, how they have written in a very ornamental style about the horse's feet. हर्षଙ୍କର ପାଦ କେମିତି ଥିଲା ସେତେବେଳେ ତାଙ୍କର ସେ ଯୋଉ ଅନ୍ୟମାନେ ଯେମିତି ବିଭିନ୍ନ ପ୍ରକାର ଆଳଙ୍କାରିକ ଷ୍ଟାଇଲରେ ଯେତେ ଲେଖି ପାରୁଥିଲେ ତାକୁ ସେଠି 7-8ଟା ଧାଡ଼ିରେ ସେଠି ଲେଖା ଯାଇଛି. So this is all about the charitas. Then another work is there, Sandhyakara Nandini. Anything, any doubt, please, my dear friends?
No,
Any
sir.
doubt? Okay?
No, sir.
No. So now we'll see about Sandhyakara Nandini. These are the important history books. So try to understand properly what happened about Sandhyakara Nandini. A poet who eulogized the Pala ruler Ramapala. Okay, a poet, Sandhyakanandini is a poet who praised the Pala ruler Ramapala of eastern India, composed the Ramacharita in such a way that each verse could be interpreted either to the life of the epic hero or to that of the patron. What happened? ସେ ଏମିତି ତାକୁ ବର୍ଣ୍ଣନା କରିଛନ୍ତି ଯେମିତି ଆମ ରାମାୟଣ ମହାଭାରତରେ ଆମେ ଯେମିତି ଶ୍ରୀକୃଷ୍ଣଙ୍କୁ ରାମଚନ୍ଦ୍ରଙ୍କୁ ବର୍ଣ୍ଣନା କରିଛେ it is that style you see. So how they have described it? Okay, Ramapala. Both Prasastis and Chaitas were valuable in the situations where rulers were insecure. So how and why they were writing such type of Prasastis? So when these rulers were insecure, they were not secured by the people. People were underestimated the king at that time. These poets they write such type of descriptions to a king. Now we'll see for what reason. You see, both Prasastis and Chaitas were valuable in situations where rulers were insecure, where they are not secure. It is evident that the above four rulers means what we have discussed, Pulakesina and other rulers, their claims to the throne did not rest on promoter. Promoter, what does it mean? That means they are not the firstborn child of their father. And they should not sit on the throne. So how we will discuss. In Samudragupta's case, you see, we have discussed about Samudragupta's case. Horizon states that he was chosen by his father in ignoring the claims of rivals. Though there was some rivals, but he was chosen by his father as a ruler. Pulakesina was the nephew of his predecessors. So Pulakesina was also not the right person to sit on the throne. So he was the nephew of his predecessors. Harsha succeeded to the throne on the sudden death of his elder brother and claimed the kingdom of his deceased brother-in-law as well. So Harshavardhan, what happened? When his elder brother died and when his deceased brother-in-law died, so what happened? Harshavardhan chosen as the king. Ramapala too had no direct claim to the throne. This text highly praised to the rulers to legalize to the throne. So what happened? So these poets, these texts, they were highly praising to the rulers in order to legitimize to the throne. Did you understand my point or not? You tell me, then after we will go ahead. My dear friend, any doubt?
No, sir. Absolutely go ahead.
ନାଇଁ ଏଇଟା ଟିକେ କହିବାର ଅଛି, ଟିକେ ଶୁଣ, ତାପରେ ଆମେ ଯିବା, ତାପରେ ତା ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଆମେ ଯିବାନି। ଏଇଠି ଗୋଟେ କଥା ଅଛି, ଏଇଠି ଗୋଟେ ଆମ କଥା ଆମେ ଶିଖିବାର ଅଛି। ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷଟାକୁ ଆମେ ଲିଗାଲାଇଜ କରିବାକୁ ପଡୁ, we have to make approval by the priest, by the society, by the parents, by our relatives. So these are quite essential. Good example ମୁଁ ଦଉଛି। ଧରିନିଅ ଗୋଟେ ପୁଅ ଝିଅ ସେମାନେ ଆଉଟକାଷ୍ଟରେ ବିବାହ କରୁଛନ୍ତି। ଗୋଟେ ବ୍ରାହ୍ମଣୀ ପୁଅ ହଉ, ସେ ଗୋଟେ ଅଦର କାଷ୍ଟରେ ବାହା ହଉଛି, ବା ଗୋଟେ ବ୍ରାହ୍ମଣ ଝିଅ ହଉ ଅଦର କାଷ୍ଟରେ ବାହା ହଉଛି। ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେମାନେ ବାହା ହୁଅନ୍ତି, so they have to legalize it. How they will do it? କେମିତି କରିବେ ନା ସେମାନେ as usual ବ୍ରାହ୍ମଣକୁ ଡାକିବେ, ଉଭୟଙ୍କର ପ୍ୟାରେଣ୍ଟସ୍ ଆସିବେ, ସେ ବାହାବେଦୀରେ ବସିବେ ଏବଂ ଭୋଜିଭାତ କରିକିରି they will circulate it to all the relatives. So the main motto is that is legalized. ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ବାହାଘର ହଉ ବା ବ୍ରତଘର ହଉ ବା ଯେକୌଣସି ଗୋଟେ ଫେଷ୍ଟିଭାଲ ହଉଛି, what is the main intention behind it? The main intention is to legalize the matter. ଯଦି ଆମେ ନ କରିବା, legalize ହେଲେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଆମକୁ କେମିତି ଲାଗିବ, but we have to legalize it, ନହେଲେ no one will accept us. ଲୋକମାନେ ଯୋଉ କୋର୍ଟ ମ୍ୟାରେଜ କରିଦଉଛି, ତମେ ଦେଖିଥିବ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ସୁମିତ କଥା ତମେ ଶୁଣୁଥିବ, ପିଲାମାନେ ଟିଭିରେ ଶୁଣୁଥିବ, ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ପ୍ରତିଦିନ ଚାଲିଛି ଡକ୍ଟର ସୁମିତ କଥା,
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍।
ଶୁଣୁଛ ନା ନାହିଁ? ଶୁଣୁଥିବ, being a lady you are observing it, ପ୍ରାୟ 2-3 ମାସ ହେଲାଣି ଚାଲିଛି ସେ ଘଟଣା। it is in ବ୍ରହ୍ମପୁର, and the Pramila Tripathi, he is belonging to our locality, that lady, ହେଲା। So what happened? ସେମାନେ କୋର୍ଟ ମ୍ୟାରେଜ କରିଦେଲେ, but their parents, they are not permitting it. You see, what is the problem behind this? Their parents they are not legalizing. Even the court has legalized it, and they are belonging to the same caste. But the problem is that their family members, they are not legalizing it. ହେଲେ ଏ ଯୋଉ କଠିନ ଯୋଉ ରଜା ଗୁଡ଼ିକ କଥା ମୁଁ ପଢିଲି, ଏଇଥିରେ ସମୁଦ୍ରଗୁପ୍ତ ହଉ, ହର୍ଷବର୍ଦ୍ଧନ କଥା ହଉ ବା ପୁଲକେଶୀନ ସେନ କଥା ହଉ, ଏଇଠି କଣ ହଉଛି ନା ଯେତେବେଳେ ତାର କୋର୍ଟର ଯୋଉ ପୋଏଟ ସେମାନେ କଣ କରନ୍ତି, ତାକୁ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ପ୍ରକାର ସ୍ତୁତି କରନ୍ତି, they are praising them like anything. So ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ କିଙ୍ଗରେ ଇନସିକ୍ୟୁର ଫିଲ୍ କରି, ସେତେବେଳେ କଣ ହୁଏ, ଏଗୁଡ଼ିକ ନିହାତି ଦରକାର, what they are telling. I think I am clear, my dear friends.
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now we will see a poet, historian, Kalahan, and Ratarangini. So Ratarangini. So what is this? We will discuss about it. So it is said that the only historical work published in ancient India was the Ratarangini, or the River of the Kings. Raja Tarangini. Okay, Raja Tarangini, or the River of the Kings. Raja means Raja, Kings means Raja, and Tarangini means river. River of the Kings, authored by Kalahan in 12th century Common Era. So what happened? It is written by Kalahan in the 12th century. It is the history of Kashmir since its inception. So here the history of Kashmir was written. It consists of 8 books or tarangas, and it is composed in verse. Verse means poetic form, and it had 8 books. Okay, that means tarangas. The first 3 tarangas, here it is a description, history of the reign till the 7th century Common Era. So it is written up to 7th century. Then 4 to 6 tarangas, the story forwarded till the 11th century. So it was written from 7th century to 11th century, and 6 to 8 tarangas deal with the 12th century, what we have seen about the Chinese history. Okay, so this was a systematic record. Ratarangini was recorded as a historical book, and it was divided into 8 books or tarangas, and we have discussed first 3 stanza, then 4 to 6 stanza, then 6 to 8 stanza, what it has written. In the first section, the author, who was a Brahmana, the son of a minister and a learned Sanskrit scholar, paints a picture was an ideal world. He has written about the world which is in orderly way, in an ideal world, one in which sons succeeded his fathers. What happened? Then sons succeeded his father. It is a natural thing. And in which the Brahminical norms of Varna and gender hierarchies were strictly followed. এবং সেটা কোন হয়েছে ନା ନା ବ୍ରାହ୍ମଣିକାର norms of ବର୍ଣ୍ଣ ବ୍ରାହ୍ମଣ କ୍ଷତ୍ରିୟ ବୈଶ୍ୟ ଶୂଦ୍ର such type of brahminical norms and gender hierarchy is very strictly followed ବୁଝା ପଡ଼ିଲା ଏଇଟା କଣ ହେଇଛି ନା ଏ ଯୋଉ ଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡାର୍ଡରେ ଲେଖା ଯାଇଛି ଆମର ଯେମିତି ଆମର ସୋସାଇଟି ଯେମିତି ହେଇଛି ହେଲା ବ୍ରାହ୍ମଣ ଆସିବ ତାପରେ କ୍ଷତ୍ରିୟ ତାପରେ ବୈଶ୍ୟ ତାପରେ ଶୂଦ୍ର ଏ ଟାଇପର ଲେଖା ଯାଇଛି ଏବଂ ଜେନେରାଲି ଗୋଟେ ସନ୍ କଣ କରୁଛି ତା ଫାଦରକୁ ସକ୍ସିଡ୍ କରିଛି such type of manner it was written. However, in the next two sections, that means 4 to 6, he documents how these norms were violated. You see, in 1 to 3 tarangas, properly it was orally written, but in next two stanzas, here the norms were violated. Amongst the horrors, according to Callahan, is a phenomena of women rulers. So you see how it is there. So they have written about that women rulers were there. Okay, but such type of mistakes was not in first 2-3 stanzas, but in 4 to 6 stanzas we will mark that women rulers were there. It was violated. Why his work is unique? So now the question comes, why that work is regarded as a unique? At the outset, the sources he consulted, these included the Sasanam, Prasastis, Shastras. So these are the main sources that he consulted. That's why it is regarded as a unique. So try to remember these 3 words. Why Callahan's Ratarangani is regarded as a unique history book. So the reason is that he has proper sources he consulted, that is Sasana. Sasana means administration, then Prasastis, what we have discussed, then about the Shastras. Shastras means books, and he has strictly followed these sources. Callahan, in his critique of earlier writers whose works were full of errors and lacked style. So what happened in his earlier works of history? They have not maintained the proper sequence, the proper chronological order, and it lacked the proper style. Callahan regarded himself as a poet. A poet was supposed to be endowed with the divine insight. So who is a poet? The poet who has a divine insight, jar divya dushti thibo, and was almost as powerful as a Prajapati, Brahma. He is powerful just like a Prajapati or Brahma, and God recognized as the creator, and he has the capacity to create a new things. Then only he can be called as a poet. Within the Brahminical tradition, he also envisaged his work for the education of the kings. Nothing besides this, Ratarangini also gives some education, gives some teachings to the kings. Callahan functioned within a Sanskrit tradition, and every composition was expected to have a dominant ras. Rasa means an emotional mood. So it is written in a very systematic way, though it is written in a Sanskrit verse. The rasa is Shanta. You see, there are 5 styles: Dasya, Shanta, Madhura, Sakhya, and Vatsalya. ଏଗୁଡିକ ହଉଛି ପ୍ରେମ ରସ। ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ରାଧାକୃଷ୍ଣଙ୍କର ପ୍ରେମ କଥା ପଢିବା, ଯେତେବେଳେ we will read about the episode between Radha and Krishna, and we will see that there are 5 rasas। जो ରାସକ୍ରିୟା ସେ କରୁଥିଲେ 5ଟା ରାସ ଥିଲା, ଏବଂ ରାଧାଙ୍କର ଥିଲା ପ୍ରେମ ରସ, ଏବଂ ବାତ୍ସଲ୍ୟ ଥିଲା କୋଉଠେ? ବାତ୍ସଲ୍ୟ ରସ ଥିଲା ଆମର ଯଶୋଦା ଏବଂ କୃଷ୍ଣଙ୍କର। ବାତ୍ସଲ୍ୟ ମାନେ ପୁଅ ଭଳି ସ୍ନେହ। ଏବଂ ଦାସ୍ୟ କୋଉଠି ଥିଲା? ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା ରାମ ଏବଂ ହନୁମାନ। ଓକେ, ସାକ୍ଷ୍ୟ କୋଉଠି ଥିଲା? ନା କୃଷ୍ଣ ଏବଂ ଅର୍ଜୁନ ହେଲା। ଏବଂ ଶାନ୍ତ ଆମର ଯୋଉ ଥିଲେ ରାମଚନ୍ଦ୍ରଙ୍କ ପିତା, କଣ ତାଙ୍କ ନାଁ ଭୁଲିଗଲି,
ଦଶରଥ।
ଥିଲା ଦଶରଥ। ଠିକ ଅଛି, ଦଶରଥଙ୍କର ଥିଲା ଶାନ୍ତ ଭାବ। ଏବଂ ଏଠି କ'ଣ ହେଇଛି ଯୋଉ କାଲାହାନ ଯୋଉ ଲେଖିଦେଲେ ଦି ରାସ ଇଜ ଏ ଶାନ୍ତ everywhere you will remain peace and tranquility whatever the situation may be ଦଶରଥ କ'ଣ କଲେ ଦେଖିଲେ ତାଙ୍କର 4ଟା ଗାଁ ପଡି ଯାଉଛି ସିଏ କହିଲେ ଓକେ ଏଇଟା ପଡିଯାଉ କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ ଏ ଯୋଉ ଭାରାକ୍ରାନ୍ତ ସିଏ ନାହିଁ ଦେଖିବା କ'ଣ ହଉଛି ହେଲା ଆମେ ଟିକିଏରେ ବ୍ୟତିବ୍ୟସ୍ତ ହେଇଯାଉଛେ କ'ଣ ହେଇଯିବ କ'ଣ ନାହିଁ ହେଲା so these are the rasas the rasa is shanta there is also sections where the horrors of war and destruction are graphically highlighted ଏବଂ ସେ ଏ ଛଡା ଆଉ କ'ଣ ଅଛି ନା horrors of war is also there so this is a all types of mixed literature so it is regarded as a unique literature and it is also regarded as one of the most historiography that is produced in 12th century CE. Okay, anything, my dear friends?
No, sir.
No, just I will try to finish it because I have another meeting also. Okay, other tradition of historical writing. Most traditions of historical writing were related to kings. Other traditions developed around religious institutions. These included the Buddhist, Jaina, and Brahminical institutions. So what happened? We have also traditions or history just like Buddha, Jaina, and Brahminical institutions. Though at that time it was written about on the kings and dynastic history. Buddhist traditions record the convening of 3 or 4 Buddhist councils where early Buddhist doctrines and teachings were recorded. So what happened? There were 4 Buddhist councils were convened. So I have no time. Actually, I have planned to dictate something about the Buddhist councils, but due to the paucity of time, I am not able. If you will tell me our next class, I will dictate it about what are the 4 Buddhist councils, or you may go through the Googling. But I have given some important note here. Then after we will see about the dating system. What happened? The varieties of dating system were used in early India. So we have used the varieties of dating. We have not a systematic dating. You see, they used regnal year. Have you listened that word regnal year? Kings took the first regnal year ruling as a starting point and gradually counting years. It was used by Mauryan Emperor Ashoka. We know that 13th major rock edict that he attacked Kalinga 8 years after his coronation. So Ashoka was the first person who counted the regnal year, and when he started his rule, after ascending after the throne, it was counted the first year regnal year, second regnal year, and the third regnal year, just like. And in the 8th regnal year, he attacked Kalinga. So it is a one kind of a death. The year of the Gupta era, which is the 320 common era. The date assigned the first important Gupta ruler, that is Chandragupta first. So we are also using Gupta era. Okay. Then Bikram era, which is 58 BC, but it was not a clear one. Rather, it was confusing because many kings adopted the title Vikramaditya. Then we have also used Shaka era, which comes in 78 common era, beginning the reign of Kanishka. So this is all about the ancient literature, or so to say, about the historiographical traditions in early India. We have discussed one after another. Now we can also make a comparison. What is the why China's historiography is rich in comparison to India? The thing is that our literature is not written in a chronological manner. Though we are counting Kalahan's Ratrangani is the first historiographical literature, but when we come to Ramayana and Mahabharata, we will see that it was not written in a chronological manner, and we have also no rich sources it is used. So this is all about the historiography for China, and we have also gone through the literature or historiography of early India. We have properly discussed. If you have any doubt, you should be ready. You will ask me after 15 days. I will take your MHI 10. Then you can also you ask me. So the thing is that kindly you go through the lessons properly. Automatically you will understand what are the main points here. Okay, then you try to consume one lesson after another. But the thing is that it will take not less than 10 hours to cover a lesson, mind it. And those who are getting civil service, those who are getting civil service, first time they will take for one chapter for 10 hours. Then the second, when they will come for the second time, it will take 5 hours. Then third time, 2 hours. Then the fourth, when they will go to the exam, they will consume it. They will take it for 1 hour. So you see how they are laboring hard to get the civil service. So it is not at all a difficult task for you. And just like the civil servants are like us. But the thing is that they are laboring hard, and we are not liking to do such type of labors in our case. This is all about the historiography. My dear friends, we have completed 7 chapters. Uh, so it is not possible to go through the other chapters because time is very small. We have given only 1 hour and it is only 8 hours, so to say. And though with a very short span of time, we have covered so many chapters, but it is very difficult in general class to complete one chapter in one class. So with this, I have concluded. Many thanks to you that you have extended your cooperation to me. And anything you can ask me now, we'll discuss. Anything, my dear friends? Anything you want to ask me?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Again, we will meet after 15 days. The date I have not remembered. Okay. Okay, Supali.
सर बुद्धिस्ट ट्रेडिशन में सर कौन कहते सर कहले गोटे
बुद्धिस्ट
नोट टे
ट्रेडिशन
गोटे
रे
कहयार
हमर कोन होची चारिटा किए बसला माने से जो हमरो चारिटा काउंसिल बसला से ऊपर तुमको मु एलाबोरेट कहि थांदी काहे कि हमर जदियो बहिरे नथिला बट मु सेरा को चिंता करथि तुमको कहया पे बट टाइम इज वेरी शॉर्ट ओके सेरा कहया पे नॉट लेस देन म्हणजे उडे हाफ एन आवर लागियो যদি परमिशन যদি नेक्स्ट क्लास যদি কেতර মতে টিকে মনে পকাই দব তাহলে মু কই দেবি অলরেডি আই হ্যাভ প্ল্যানেড व्हाट आई विल टेल यू हां ओके तेणु we will meet again after 15 days so good night to all because I have another meeting to share my time okay many thanks okay we will
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
good night
थैंक यू सर गुड नाइट सर
thank you
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
good night